My husband poured our daughter's ashes into the toilet and threw her urn at me. I'm posting this on a throwaway, as my main account is very identifying and I just need to vent. I'm feeling sad, alone, and terrified. My head hurts, my heart hurts. I feel so alone and I don't know where to turn to. I had to spend the night in my car last night. I couldn't sleep through crying, trying to stay warm enough and thinking that somebody was going to suddenly appear at the windows. I've been trying to find a place to park up so I can try to sleep today, and I found a place, but I can't rest. I feel so empty and scared. I don't want to go into much detail here, but our daughter passed away very suddenly last year. My husband and I both got help and have tried to work through it together, but his drinking has been getting more and more out of control. It got to a point where he started to try to hide it, but it was making his behavior worse. I had a breakdown 2 months after our daughter passed, and I hadn't been to work since. I had quite a bit put away in savings and some money I inherited, so I was using that to contribute at home while I have tried to get myself back in better health. In January, my husband started on his sobriety journey, but his business started to suffer. There were some difficulties through the lockdowns, and we both worked hard to make sure the business made it through. He took out a loan earlier this year, and I gave him the rest of my savings and started back at work. Things were going well with the business and as well as they could have been for us, until he relapsed last month and was hiding it from me. I lost my job 2 weeks ago and have been looking for work since. It's been stressful, but nothing we couldn't have managed. Yesterday I got home and my husband was already home and was very drunk. It was a very loud and out of control kind of state he was in. He was slamming around the house saying he was looking for something. I couldn't get much sense out of him and he was really irate. I didn't really know what to do, and when I tried to ask if he was okay, he got in my face and was quite aggressive with me. He randomly started to throw accusations at me, accusing me of all kinds of things that I have no idea where any of it came from. I was scared at that point and didn't want to be in the house with him. I hadn't seen him that angry before, and I think it was a buildup of grief that had come spilling out, but I felt scared. I put my shoes and coat on and told him I was going to head out for a while. That's when he stacked and accused me of trying to leave him. It all happened very suddenly, but he charged at me and got hold of my arm and threw me onto the floor and pulled me down the hallway. At some point of him drunkenly shouting about him not letting me leave him, he suddenly stopped and told me he was going to give me a reason to hate him so much. He stormed off into the front room, took the urn with our daughter in, and headed to the downstairs toilet. I got up and tried to stop him from doing whatever he was able to do. When he went towards the toilet, I was trying to stop him and was pleading with him not to. He shoved me quite hard and I fell. He poured all of the ashes into the toilet and threw her urn at me, hitting my leg. He then started yelling at me to get out before he killed me. I was shaking and felt like I was frozen, but I managed to get up and run to the front door. I took my keys and my handbag and drove off. I had no idea where to go, so parked up in a quiet area and just cried. I have done practically nothing but cry since. I have no family around and no friends that I can turn to who are close by. I was sick earlier on, but I've managed to keep some water down. I thankfully keep a supply of it in the car. I don't know what to do. I switched my phone off all night in case he tried to contact me. I didn't want to hear from him. He's tried to call me today, but I can't be around him while he is drinking again. I can't let him keep taking his anger out on me like this. I feel like it's all my fault. Everything. I just needed to vent. I'm exhausted of feeling like this. I'm not sure if I'm breaking any rules by posting an update. Thank you to everybody who reached out to me and commented on my original post. I didn't mean to leave any of you worrying. I deleted everything not long after taking an overdose. I had planned on trying again as soon as I got out of hospital. I'm still here though, and I was feeling extremely overwhelmed. I wanted to let you all know that I'm safe, and I didn't go back. I can't get into everything that has gone on with my husband, as the police have been involved, and some of it is ongoing. I can say that he was playing games and acted calm and collected with them at first, trying to make out that he hadn't done anything wrong, and that it was me with the problem. He told them that I was welcome home at any time. A couple of things happened, and after I received some very threatening voice messages and texts from him, he reported my phone as stolen and had me cut off. He was trying to make me go home and have nowhere else to turn to. After some intervention and run-ins with the police, he offered to leave the house for a couple of days a few weeks ago. I was to go there with some help, allowing me to get my belongings and our daughter's things. Nobody asked him to leave. He offered. I arrived there along with some help to find that he had destroyed all of my things. When I say all of my things, I mean everything that I owned, and that was in that house. I can't even imagine how long it must have taken him. He sliced my shoes and had gone over some of them in black marker, the same with my handbags. He cut up my clothes. All of my products were all over the bathroom, which he had smashed up. There were items of my clothes in the bath, and he had poured bleach all over them, as well as my cosmetics all destroyed and mixed in. He had smashed up, broken my other belongings. He had trashed the house, including our daughter's daughter's room. The only things I couldn't find were some of her things he had taken with him. I don't really remember much of being in the house. I suppose I kind of went numb once I realized what he had done and saw our daughter's room. The photos of it all are awful. He has claimed he doesn't remember doing any of it. He then put it down to a drunken rage. After doing it, he went straight over to his parents, knowing what was coming, and pleaded with them for help. They arranged for him to get some private help. I mentioned in my post about his issues with alcohol. After our daughter passed away, we both got help, together and separately. His drinking got out of control and to a point where he was trying to hide it, which made him even worse. I know he has been hurting, but it got to a point where it was almost impossible to have a reasonable conversation with him. After talking through things with various professionals, I realized now too that there was a lot of control going on, financial and emotional, and no matter how much he was hurting, I know it doesn't excuse his behavior. However much I have felt for him and wanted him to get all of the help he needs, I can't see past what he did with our daughter's ashes. I felt like I lost her all over again, and I felt like I had somehow failed her again. His parents did reach out and promised they would get back the things of our daughters that he took. I haven't heard from them since. I'm sure it isn't easy for them. I've been getting some help and I'm on a waiting list for some more therapy. I also start a new job on Tuesday. I am currently sitting here on the floor of my new place typing this out. I picked up the keys yesterday. My tenancy officially begins on Monday. It isn't much to look at, and I'm starting all over again, but for the first time in weeks I feel like I can finally breathe a little. It's a bit overwhelming to have some space of my own again, but for the first time in what feels like a long time, I feel like I can almost relax. I have had a new bed donated to me and it will arrive on Monday, and my key worker has applied for a cooker for me via a white goods scheme with one of my utility providers. I don't have any hot water or heating until my gas is uncapped on Monday, but I do have some electricity. I've got some books to read, and just this morning I picked up a bag of mostly canned food from the food bank. It took a lot to be able to face going, but it's enough to last me for the next few days, and it doesn't need to be heated. I might not have what I had, but I'm not where I was. I'm not sure where things will go from here. It felt like I had died along with my daughter, yet my body was still there and going through life. I want to believe I can do something in her memory. Even if that something is making it through each day, I'm safe, and I'm trying to be well.